Well, Tuesday marks the World Autism Awareness Day. The UN announced it in 2007, and it was first observed a year later. It aims to increase awareness about those, especially children, living with autism. Well, autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communications. Signs of the autism can often be noticed during first 3 years of a child's life. While the first diagnosis of autism was reported in the 1940s, it wasn't until 1982 that China knew of its first official case. Well, a joint Chinese-UK study reveals that around 1 in 100 people, that's roughly 14 million in China, has an autism-related conditions. And the number includes 2 million children under the age of 12. It also shows the prevalence of autism in China is similar to that in the Western countries. Well, the medical community's understanding of autism continues to grow. And even though it is still incurable, experts say starting intervention early for autistic kids is still the best treatment.
At Shanghai's Haichang Ocean Park, a school of beluga whales entertain a group of autistic children. Experts say social activities tailored for such groups of people have gained popularity across Chinese cities.
Currently, China doesn't have its own statistics on autistic children. The United States CDC puts its figure at 1 in 68, and it's rising every few years. That's partly because the autism spectrum has widened, so more people fall into it. If we estimate that 1% of Chinese children have autism, we'd have 4 million.
Medical experts say starting intervention before 2 or 3 years old is currently the best solution. Although the disorder is deemed largely incurable, many social institutions in China are experimenting with different treatments to increase the social skills of these children. The Children's Hospital of Fudan University in Shanghai has a basketball team of autistic kids that train once a month. Creating social interaction is the goal.
Our program helps with their body coordination, and we encourage them to talk. This is an effective behavioral intervention exercise.
Experts say the key is to start young when a child's brain is more impressionable. But a lack of awareness from parents and sometimes denial due to social stigmas make many autistic kids miss this window. Nevertheless, social training has shown to help even adults with autism. This charity coffee shop in Shanghai offers beverages for free if customers chat with autistic baristas.
These kids learn how to make coffee very quickly and can be very meticulous. What they struggle is communicating with people around them. If we want to make them employable, we should start early.
However, a mimicked social environment is different from the real thing. How helpful these programs are once the kids enter society still depends on the individual. Vocational training is one aspect, but experts say what's more important is a society with less discrimination and more acceptance. Yang Chengxi, CGTN, Shanghai.
So the chances are you know a family with an autistic kid, adolescent, or even adult. The autism spectrum has widened in recent years, while bringing more people into this. The good news is that China has made great strides with autism research and education rehabilitation. And Sun Tianyuan shows us more about the process.
Many say the social stigmas surrounding autism can be worse than the condition itself. The stars and the suns refer to a group of children who don't seem to be bothered by their environment. They appear to have their own world, yet very few of them are able to take care of themselves. Children with autism are often called children of the stars. Despite their limitations, many of them prove to be gifted in several aspects.
My son especially likes geography. He loves travel and he can recognize all the flags of countries in the world.
My son loves painting. It gives him a lot of room to display his talents.
According to China's Health Planning Commission, 1 out of 100 newborn babies could be diagnosed with autism. In the United States, the figure was close to 2% last year among children aged between 3 and 18. As parents get older, grown-ups with autism tend to be a challenge for most families.
The first 3 batches of people in China identified as autistic are currently over 20 years old. Most of them are still at home and have no employment because no company is willing to accept them.
30 years ago, most people in China were unfamiliar with autism, but in recent years, the country's research and educational rehabilitation efforts for people with autism continue to grow.
I personally feel society is becoming more and more concerned about autistic children compared to when my son was young. For example, we only need to pay a small tuition fee for him to study painting.
Many therapeutic programs have been launched to provide targeted training to children and adults with autism. These help them develop their strength and social skills.
Oftentimes, people understand autism as a condition that affects a small number of people, which indeed, if you look at the broader sets of population. But actually, I think the concept behind activity like this is how do you actually have a more inclusive environment to support people with special needs? Because special need, although it sounds special, but I always say in education, everyone is special.
By looking at their artworks, it can be said that children with autism share the same or even stronger desires to express themselves and be a large part of society. And a growing number of educators and medical professionals in China are helping them adapt and realize their dreams. Sun Tianyuan, CGTN.